So I want to talk about one of my favorite aspects of public land hunting. I wouldn't really call it a tactic, definitely a variable in the situation. It changes daily, but that's hunting pressure or other hunters. And you know, historically that's been a bad thing for public land as far as people view public land, hunting on public land. You know, it's all the other hunters. And granted, there is a lot of hunters out there. I see most during gun season. Bow season, it's not overly crowded. But what I want to get to is a specific hunt of mine that really kind of opened my eyes. 3 years ago, it was on October 22nd. It was a Sunday, and I was heading out to one of my hunting spots. It wasn't one of my favorite hunting spots at the time. So I'm heading out, I'm gonna hunt a Sunday afternoon, and up until this point, I have not seen a lot of people out there. So I get there, I get to where I'm gonna go, and there's 2 pickup trucks in the parking lot. So I'm like, all right, I'll just go down the road. There's another parking spot about a half mile down the road. Said I'll go down there and work in from the other way. Get to that parking lot, there was 3 pickup trucks in the parking lot. So I'm like, all right. I said, I'll go down to this other unit. I said, I know there's big deer in this other unit. I see them all the time. Get down there, it's same situation. Get to the first parking lot, there's 2 vehicles in the parking lot. Second parking lot, 3 vehicles in the parking lot. I ended up driving around a good portion of the management area, and every parking lot had pickup trucks in it. So I stop at the only parking lot that doesn't have a pickup truck in it. Get out, there's no trees around at all. It's just low sumac bushes and canary grass. Rolls off into a cattail swamp with some poplar and alders kind of mixed in. So I go as far as I dared to go before I thought I was gonna start kicking deer up, and sat there all afternoon. About an hour and a half before dark, I got up and moved a little bit closer, probably another 100 yards, and got nestled in. Well, 20 minutes before dark, here they come. Deer started pouring out of everywhere. This big 8-point that came out, he was super wide. He had his head down and his lips curled back. He looked like something out of North American Whitetail magazine. I watched this buck chase this doe all through the canary grass. There was another little buck with him and 3 or 4 more does. So for about 20 minutes, I watched this buck chase this doe. And then right before dark, the doe runs by at what I thought was 40 yards. I'd ranged this bush at 40 yards. He comes running by, and I murked at him. He stopped, shot, looked like the shot was good. He took off. Anyways, backed out, never did find that deer. The first time I'd ever shot a big deer with a bow and lost it. And actually, it's the only time I've ever shot a big deer with a bow and lost it. Made me sick. But what I learned was hunting pressure. So from that point on, I started using hunting pressure to my advantage. I would find out where everybody else was hunting. And if there was an entire unit where no one was hunting, then I would get in there and hunt that unit. But if there's just an area, a part of that unit, which, you know, it's kind of hard to tell by looking at the parking lot, but that's where your scouting comes in. You know, if you know that somebody's got to stand here, or, you know, the majority of people hunt this area right here because this is where you see flashlights go. You know, it's all knowledge from prior years and prior hunts. But you can go around and get 100 yards upwind of that stand or downwind of that stand, and that's what those deer are going to do. They're going to hook around about 80 yards and work their way around that stand. Well, if you set up at 100, here he comes 20 yards away, perfect shot. You know, 18 feet in a tree, 20-yard shots, money. So that's something that I've used a lot. And ever since I started doing that, I killed a 9-point, scored gross 161, net 146. I killed a 10-point last year after missing a really big buck with my muzzle loader. That's another long story. Killed a 10-point right after that netted 135. Super symmetrical, both mature deer. And I've seen countless big bucks on top of that just from being in the right area. My first year hunting Indiana, I missed 3 big bucks, one that I was pretty sure would go Boone and Crockett. I don't even think I looked through my peep sight when he came in. It was gut-wrenching, but I put it all together since then and seem to have it dialed in. So I hope you guys find this video entertaining and informational. You guys stay safe out there, and I'll see you on the next one.